Hello, welcome. Yeah, hello, creaky voice. Hello, welcome to another episode of Bot and Back. Today we are covering Studio Series Transformers 1 Starscream. Now, I'm sad anytime I talk about Transformers 1 because it didn't do very well at the box office and it's not going to get a sequel, and I am sad. But it was a great movie, so at least we can enjoy that. Now, this guy is from that movie. He was voiced by Steve Buscemi, which I think was a pretty good voice casting, but this is him. I want to thank my friend Dave for loaning him out to me. This is not my figure, so I'll try to be very careful with him. But first off, let's just talk about just overall thoughts on him. The first thing that bothers me, and this is what bothered me about him when I first saw pictures of him when he was first revealed, I do not like the color of the gray. It's too yellow. And I think that the Optimus Prime had the same problem, or the Orion Pax, whatever you want to call them, for TF1. It's just too yellow. If you look at another figure, like let's look at Starscream from Earthrise Kingdom, I'm not sure which one. It's a cool gray. It's not white, but I think that gray is much better. This just, I mean, I guess you could say maybe because he's been in hiding in the movie, he's yellowish because, I don't know, reasons, he's gotten old. But the newer figures that were not in that condition also have too much of a yellow color. So, yeah, I just don't think there's a really good reason for it. I don't think it looks good. It gives me bad feelings, like he's yellowing, which other figures sometimes will do where it's white. So I just don't like it. The only other thing I can compare it to, like, here's Cybertron Starscream. It's darker, but it's still a cool gray, and this is a very warm gray. So that turns me off. It shouldn't be a deal breaker. I still think he looks very cool. Like, overall, I like the look of him. Some people don't like how lanky he is, or his legs. I don't mind that at all. His back looks pretty darn clean. I like these, I guess you call them intakes? I forget what you call them on a jet, but I like that it's kind of a callback to, I mean, it's very much a callback to Starscream. So I think that's neat. I just like the look of him. I think he looks cool, and he doesn't have a lot of kibble, so that's great. He's got his null rays up here. Other thing I don't really care for, I don't really like how his pistol looks. I know that that's partly, or probably mainly, so that it looks good in his alt mode, which we'll get to. But overall, that's how I feel about him. He stands up nice and straight. He's nice and stable. No problems with that. Let's look at his posability. Now, his head, it does not look up very far, and this also tends to come untabbed a little bit easy, I feel like. So if you want him to look up farther, he could do that, but that looks kind of ridiculous. He can look down that far. His head will turn around all the way. I always feel weird turning them around all the way and then not turning them back. It's an OCD thing. It's something, I don't know what it is. Oh, and I do like his face sculpt. I think it looks cool. So his arms. His arms normally could do a full 180. The problem is the wings get in the way. And there's really not much you can do about it. I guess you could do that. Even if, you know, start doing the transformation. Even with that, you can't do it. If you find a way to do that, let me know in the comment section below, but I don't see how. So, but, you know, they can still move a decent amount for your posing. It does kind of cause a problem, too, if you want his arm to go back, like in a pose like this. So, that's a bit of a problem. He has a bicep swivel, and he does not have a wrist swivel. That's stuck the way it is. His elbow bends over 90 degrees. That's fine. That's great. There is no waist swivel. And I don't complain about waist swivel too often, especially with, I mean, I love to have it, but I understand with some transformations, I can see why this guy does not have it. Now, there are some figures that have engineering geniuses that can make it work anyway, which I think is neat. But it also might be a budget issue. I believe this guy's a deluxe class, so they might have just not been able to put the budget into that engineering. So his leg will go up that far, and it will bend over 90 degrees. If you wanted to go farther, you could untab this piece in the back. There goes his gun. And that looks ridiculous, but, you know, if you really need it to do that, you can do that. I will say, yeah, that came off. I don't like how that part of the handle is. I don't know why it's not just a round peg. I'm trying to think of how it might just be part of the transformation. They wanted this to fit nicely underneath of the jet. That might be why. But I digress. He has almost a complete spread. Yeah, I don't think it's going to go any farther, and I don't want to force the issue because this is not my figure. But that's still fine. That's still plenty. The main thing, well, let's not. We'll get to that. We'll get to my biggest gripe in a second. This doesn't go forward or back really. If you want to, you could do that, which is an option. That's not bad. But my biggest gripe is there is no ankle tilt. I love ankle tilt. I need some ankle tilt in my figure. That helps with posability a lot. I feel like there's very little excuse for a figure in 2005 with today's engineering to not have that. I mean, I'll give them this much. They molded his feet so that when he does stand, it looks natural. He can stay in like a natural A stance. Here, I'll zoom forward just a little bit so you get a better look. Let's zoom forward even more. Yeah, he's molded really nicely so it works, but, you know, what if you want him to stand straight? It's just a little bit off. What if you want him to, you know, have a really extreme pose? Then that's also not quite flat. So I'm a stickler for some ankle tilt. So much so that my username on the TFW 2005 boards is ankle tilt. So I like ankle tilt. He doesn't have it. That bothers me. Is it a deal breaker for this figure? Not really. It makes me sad for posability. I mean, you can get this guy in some nice poses, but like here, he's falling a lot. I think that's mostly me. He's pretty darn stable. But I mean, if not having the ankle tilt can affect the stability a bit, because let's say I want him to be in a cool pose where he's got his legs spread and he's like, I like to do pose crap. See, that's, I don't even know where the gun went. One moment, here it is. I mean, doing this pose test right now is showing you some of the downsides. This is also a shallow peg on that gun. So when it goes into his fist, it has been coming out, it comes out very, very easily. So that's frustrating. And if I want him to be like in a cool pose, like that, like his legs spread quite a bit, you can get it to work, but one, it just, once again, there's just like a gap there. I know I'm being anal, and some people probably don't care. You can get him in decent poses, but like if you want him, you know, just having like a nice, I'll get you, Megatron. Again, I need to work on my Starscream voice. It's not bad. It's fine. I feel like he's a little too wobbly. Anyway, so it's not the worst, but it could have been better. I'm surprised there's no ankle tilt, but I'm also not a Transformers engineer. So, okay, I'm tired of this coming out, so we're just going to take off his... No, we're not. We're not, because I'm going to do some size comparisons. We'll do some comparisons with other Starscreams. Now, you're probably going to wonder, why do you have so many Starscreams? I did not mean to become a Starscream collector. I don't love the character. I don't hate him. I just don't have any strong feelings towards him. But, let's see, where did it start? It started with Armada Starscream. I bought this guy accidentally. Yes, you heard that right, accidentally. TF Source has got a no return policy. Well, no, not a no return policy. It has no cancellation policy. You cannot cancel your figures. Now, if you put it in a pile of loot, which they have, where you can put a bunch of stuff in your pile of loot and have it all sent at once, you can put pre-orders in your pile of loot and take them out back and forth. So that's a way you can have a pre-order and cancel it just by taking it out of your pile of loot, but you can't directly cancel it. The problem is, this guy was not a pre-order. He was immediately available. I didn't know that didn't work. I put this immediately available figure in my pile of loot. The moment I put it in there, the order went through. And at the time, I was putting things in and out of my pile of loot, figuring out what do I want to buy, what can I afford, and I was putting a bunch of pre-orders. But when I put him in there, I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been a much more expensive figure. So they sent it to me. But you know what? happy accident, because I love this figure. Now, maybe it's just my brain trying to make up for the fact I didn't really want to order him. But I don't know. I really like him so much so that I got toy hacks for him. But anyway, so once I got him, I ended up getting this Reactivate Starscream. Here, we're just going to do the size comparisons right now. I got him because I just thought all the Reactivate designs were really cool, except, you know, Soundwaves is not incredibly great. But, so I ended up getting that Starscream. And then, because I got him, I had to have the OG, well, not really the OG, but this was the one that came with the throne. He went on a huge deep discount for like 25 bucks with the throne. That's how he looks with him. So I got him, and then because I had him, I wanted to try out the original Siege mold, which I thought looked really cool, and he is, and the transformation's really cool. And I'm gonna bring the camera down a little bit so we can see the sizes a little better of how tall they are. Should have done that in the first place, but oh well. So there he is with Siege. And so I got the Siege one. I think he's really cool. And then the Cybertron Starscream is, oh, he's even taller. I just thought he looked cool too. Again, I didn't mean to start collecting Starscreams. It just came out with some really good ones. Now, I have chilled out on it a little bit, so I don't collect every single one. But that's how he looks with that one. Which ones am I missing? I have two more. Here is the incredible Core Class Starscream. This is a very underrated figure. He is so good. The transformation's incredible for his size. I highly recommend that figure. But anyway, there he is with the Core Class. And last but not least, here he is. No, don't fall apart, don't fall apart, don't fall apart. Here he is with Dr. Wu. Starscream, he's so cute. There's a bit of an issue where his shoulder pads and his crown and stuff, especially the null rice, can come off easily. But anyway, so there. I think that's a good size comparison. So now let's get into his transformation. And I think the transformation is actually quite fun. I enjoy it. And let's get into that in a moment. Let me get the camera ready so we can get into it. Okay, so first let's just get this troublesome pistol out of his hand. We'll get into that later. The first thing that we should do is let's go to his back. We're going to take his wings. There's like a little bit of a tab here. It's hard to see from here. This bit here tabs into that bit there, but so you just want to untab that. And then we're going to turn this around 180, like so. Let's just leave it like that for now. Same thing for the other side. Untab it and just turn it around and leave it like that. Let's, for our next bit, this is going to be a little difficult. Let's work on this part next. So let's bring his head up just so that gets untabbed there. And then we're going to bring this whole part, this whole section up. Oh, let's bring this back as well. We're going to need to separate the turbines, or whatever you call them, and open that up. So now we're going to bring this up, and Starscream's head will extend. And you can bring that back even farther to about there. And these two parts can actually tab in. I'm sorry, let me do that again so you can see. That can tab in as well. So, let's go back to here. We're going to want to separate, like lift this up, and then this pulls down on a double hinge, like so. And then underneath, we want to fold this around, the nose cone, and bring it up. And just snap all this together, and then bring that up. There, and now we have that part complete. Now, let's just leave his arms up like so. Let's work on the legs next. First thing we want to do is open these panels. And then we're going to bend his leg. The upper leg is going to fold into the lower leg. Now, when you do that, make sure that you really get that tabbed in correctly. And it takes some doing. You're going to think that it's in all the way. But there we go. It takes a little fiddling. But once it's in correctly, it'll be in about that far. And it's important that it is in like that, because when you bring the heel in, there's a slot here and there's a tab there, and it won't fit correctly unless you have the lower leg pushed all the way into the upper leg so that it tabs right in. Now you bring this up and there's a tab there, and it's kind of a tab in a slot, but it does not click. It just kind of rests there. You can see that like that. So let's do the other side. Now I have redone this portion of the video, like this is my third time because I could not figure out what I was doing wrong. It's because that, like I said before, that tab has got to go very well into that slot. If you don't have it in all the way, this is going to have trouble slotting into there. And so I'm fighting with it right now. If you can see, it's not in all the way. There, now it is. I believe. Yeah, now it is. And then you can see where I have it. Now, this should go quite easily into that slot. There. Now they're where they need to be. And then this will fit right into there. Now, you'll know it's not working and you don't have this clicked together enough. Number one, if this won't tab into this very easily, and if this is just not fitting into here at all, you know you've done something wrong. And that's what I've been learning. So that's the way to make sure you do it right. And this might cause you some frustration like it did for me. So now we're going to move the feet up. That doesn't really tab into anything. It's something where these two bits here rest into there, but they don't really click in. So there we go. We have that part. We have that section done. Okay, so now let's move on to the arms. There's kind of two tabs here, and they're going to go into these two slots here, like so. And let's just do the same thing on the other side. Two tabs and the two slots, and they go right in like that. Again, they snap in pretty well, but they're not going to lock in. Now we want to take his shoulders, and we're going to, oh gosh, this is another issue. There's stuff that just pops off way too easily on this figure, I think. I'll show you another part in a second, but so, okay, this is supposed to fold out. And then start bringing this in. And then open this shoulder as well and start bringing that in. Now here's another issue. This is a little tricky to do as well. Here, let's look at his gun. That part right there is going to fit into this part right here, like so. Here, the null ray's in the way. It's like so. That'll just fit over it. It doesn't stay on as well as I would like it to. But so you're going to bring these two parts together, and at the same time, it will close in between. Oh, I did it. There we go. So the gun basically fits in between these two shoulder bits as you push them together. And that's probably why they created it so that it didn't have, I guess, a round 5mm peg and it's shaped the way it is. So it is what it is. I think the gun looks much better in his futuristic jet mode. All right, let's work on the wings. We're going to open this up because if we don't, this tab here is going to not be able to clear because this will be in the way. So let's do that. Let's bring this up and rotate that. Let's get this wing out of the way. Do the same thing on the other side. Yeah, if you don't have this up and this is pushing against here, this is another issue I was going to tell you about that frustrates me. This, of course, now it's not. If you look at this, this is on, I don't know what you want to call that. If it's a mushroom peg, that can pop off for me pretty easily. Of course, now that I'm filming, it's very stable. But so we want it like that. Next thing we want to do is we actually want to take the wing Now, underneath, it's hard to see. There's this tab, or it's kind of like a hook again, and it hooks underneath. You can see that little gray part with my thumb I'm going to show you. It's going to hook underneath of that, and you're going to know it hooks into it. You can't see it, which is makes it, well, no, you can see it there, sort of. Right, there it is. We want it to hook underneath. See, this is what I'm talking about. This pops off way too easily, and it's frustrating. The same way as the shoulder bits will pop off easily. There's just too many parts that pop off too easily. So anyway, let's try that again. This is going to hook underneath of there. You just got to push until there. You hear like a very solid snap. It's not really moving. Don't move it too hard. But if it seems snug and it's not moving, you did it right. This also should snap into there, or tab into it. All right. Get used to this popping off, unless you're, I don't know, unless I'm really doing something wrong I don't know about. Bring this back to where it was, like this. This just kind of fits into here. Let's do the other side. Let's push this down until it's in. Can't tell if it's not in. It's really, there we go. Popped in. Push that in. This is the place it should be at. So everything, this is frustrating to me. It's too fiddly. Just trying to get everything right. And I think the transformation is interesting. Okay, we want to fold the wings out, by the way. That's what I'm doing. See? I fold the wings out. This pops right off. I don't even know if this is still hooked in. It is. Okay. Bring these down. It's a little too frustrating for my taste. And then this came undone too. But it's a neat transformation, and then this came undone. Things just keep coming undone. I'm yelling. I'm upset. I'm sorry. They keep coming undone, and it's a little frustrating. And I feel like this should tab into something. I mean, once you move it into here, it seems to stay. So it's really not a problem of it not being stable, this part here. So now we just bring this whole thing down and push it in. It doesn't snap in solidly, but it closes. And now we get to another thing that I don't understand. What are these tabs for? If you look, you can see, we're going to undo this and bring this down. If you look real carefully, there is a slot there. And for the longest time, when I didn't watch, I watched other videos to see what was going wrong. I'm going to undo that little hook I told you to make sure goes in. When I was transforming it the first time, I assumed, and I think it makes sense to assume this, that tab went into there. Same for the other side. I thought that was how it was supposed to be. Because it fits right in there. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's another mode. Maybe it's if you want it to look like this. Maybe if I looked at the actual instructions, it would say that. But I don't think that's it either, because, well, okay. So you can do that and tab that in, but then this isn't quite tabbed in the way it should be anymore. So you push those in. These two parts aren't quite in there. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if it was maybe halfway through making this figure they changed their mind. I don't know. And then this comes untabbed kind of easily. So that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be pushed in. And that tab keeps coming out. Let's push the other side in. I think, oh gosh, quite honestly, I don't want to break this. This is also really hard to get it to go in how it's supposed to go. And I don't want to break it. It's not my toy. It's just not tabbing. There we go. It's too hard. That's very hard to do. No, that's still, there it is. It popped in. That scares me. I don't like how hard it is to get that to tab in. And now my thumb hurts. But that's just frustrating to me. And then we have these two. I think that's unsightly. I don't think I've ever been this mad at a figure before in a video. But I don't like those tabs just sitting there. I don't. I think overall, he looks great. I think he's really cool. But I don't like how fiddly he is. I don't like how frustrating his transformation can be. Oh, also his hands show. I never like it when stuff shows. His head's hidden nice and very well. But otherwise, yeah, I'm actually going to recommend that you tab that in like that. I mean, I guess it depends on what look that you prefer, but it's just less difficult to do it that way. I think he still looks good. I don't like how this is not tabbed in all the way now, but I feel like there's less chance of you breaking your toy. I mean, he seems pretty solid, and I don't think anything's going to break, but anyway, that's something you can do. Size comparison. I'm going to cool off. I'm going to transform all the other Starscreams, and maybe I'll calm down by then. Alright, I am back after cooling down a little bit while I transformed all the figures, all the Starscream figures, to compare their sizes. So let's start with Starscream, the probably most well-known figure in recent times. So that's how those compare. Let's go to the Siege mold, which is very cool. The Tetrajet. That's how they look, how they compare. It's almost as long as that one. So that's how they compare. Let's look at Armada next. Personal favorite Starscream. And again, he has toy hacks, so that's why he might look different from your figure. I don't know why so many people don't like this, like the Armada figure. I think he's amazing, but anyway, different strokes for different folks. That's how they compare. Here he is with Reactivate, which is also a very cool figure. That's how they compare. Reactivate's quite a bit longer. Let's look at Cybertron. Another futuristic jet to look at him next to. Let's look at Core Class. That's how they look. Probably overdoing it. Don't need all these size comparisons, but I like showing off all my Starscreams. So selfish reasons. And then the Doctor Wu. He's so tiny. He's so cute. I wish he had some kind of landing gear, but they already do miracles making him transform. But anyway, that's how they compare. Get him out of the way. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be rough with my figures and slide them around. I don't like it when other YouTubers do that. I know that we save our hard-earned money for these guys, and I hate seeing people being rough with them, but that's just me. So anyway, that's it. That's the transformation. I'm going to transform him back, so if you want to stick around and see that, to see how to transform him both ways. But the jet mode, I think it looks cool. Also, this is how I keep seeing these wings folded, but you can make them straight out. Do whatever you want with it. Not sure what I like better. I think that looks pretty cool too. And again, we went over how you can have him set up in different ways, with the wings either clipped underneath or having this tabbed in up here. I just think this is safer and easier to do. So that's him. I like the gun. I like the null rays underneath. And he sits nicely. I'm not sure. I think that his gun being here helps a lot. Here, I'm just gonna... Oh, wow. You know what? That's in there pretty secure. Oh, no, there it goes. Just pop that out. I wonder how well he sits without his gun in there. Close. Close, please. Thank you. Yeah, the gun helps him sit up straight. It kind of acts like a landing gear almost. But okay, transformation time from jet mode to robot mode. So the first thing we can do, I think that you should flip this up. It's going to make it easier to move this stuff around. Let's not really unclip it because it's not really clipped to anything. Let's move this forward as far as we can get it. Peekaboo. And let's see. If you have this clipped in under here. If you transformed him in the way that everyone else has been doing it, you just pull that out, and you can pull the wings up, kind of get them out of the way for now. Same for this side. Just get them out of the way. And let's move on to his shoulders. So we're going to pull his shoulders out to the side, and the gun's going to just come right off. Oh, also let's untab his forearms. There's tabs and slots there. I know we've gone over all this before, but I like to assume there are people that just go ahead to this part because they want to transform him from this mode, so I'm going to cover everything. So we're going to fold these in at the shoulders on both sides, like so. And there you have his arms. Now let's move over here. We're going to untab. I mean, it's not really tabbed in. We're going to fold these panels out on both sides, like so. And then we're going to, here, I'm just going to push this down a little bit. We're going to untab these after. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's pull his feet down. That'll make it much easier. I'm professional. There we go. Now untab his heels, and they will snap in there once you've untabbed them. So it's untabbed, and then go boop, and then snapped in. It doesn't really go boop. That's just me. So now we want to unfold his legs. Now the upper and lower are tabbed in inside of there when they're in this mode, so you can kind of pull that down and untab it. And that's a pretty tight snap when that untabs, which is kind of satisfying. So there, his legs are out. We're just going to fold these panels in, easy peasy. We have his arms where we want them. Let's work on the nose cone. So this is already kind of coming down already a bit. Here, this is going to make it easier. Let's pull this back out again a little bit. These two parts here. So there's his head. We're going to bend this down, not too far. First, we want to fold this under here, and this is important. Push this like that. I know it doesn't seem like much. If you don't do that, you'll see why. Let's not do it at first, and I'll show you why that's important. Now we want to bring this down some more, like that. We're going to unclip this piece of the cockpit, and it's going to double hinge up like that. All right, now let's bring this up like this. So this is why it's important to do what I showed you. If you don't do this, if you have it up like that and you try to fold this under, it's not going to clear. See how that just keeps hitting against there? I found that out the hard way. So push that, I'm going to show you again closer. Push that up as far as you can get it. And now it will click in nice and secure, nice and tight. Not too tight, but it will go down where it needs to be. And now we just bring this whole thing down, and it kind of softly tabs in there. And so here's his head. We're going to push it down. Sometimes it tabs in. It takes a little bit of force to get that in there. So we're almost done. Now we just want to do the wings. Also this too. Let's bring this up, and these are going to tab into here. Same thing for this side. That tabs in. And now we just want to take the wings, and we're going to turn. This is a little tricky. All right, let's pull them out as far as we can and turn them like this. There we go. It's on a ball joint. Now, you see that tab looking thing there? That goes into here. You want to fold it in, and it'll be kind of a soft click. So it tabs in like that. And then we can fold the wing around this way. I was trying to fold it the wrong way. Folds in there. Same thing for this side. Let's pull this out, turn it around that tab into that slot, like so. And then just fold that wing in. Let's look at his back now, make sure everything, just push that in. These are in nice and secure. And let's just give him his pistol, his laser gun, his laser pistol. Oh gosh, it's such a shallow peg, it just doesn't go in very well. Wow. It's really not staying in now. I hope I didn't do anything to it. Sorry. It's really not staying in very securely. But there we go. And there's Starscream back in his robot mode. I know I complained a lot about this figure. I think he's fine. I think he's good. I think he has an interesting transformation, but there are some frustrating parts that you've seen. I also wish that this folded the other way. I wish this folded back, but you can't. You can't. It'll break. It's just not meant to do that. Maybe you might like it better visually if he is just this and this. Another complaint. This untabs way too easily. It doesn't tab in very strongly. But I don't know. Maybe you like it better with the wings out. I don't think I do. I think I like it the way it's supposed to be. Looks pretty cool. So, comment section below, let me know what you think of this Starscream. What is your favorite Starscream? I would like to know. And that is it. I hope this review was helpful. I hope the transformation was helpful. I will see you later, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye-bye.